welcome everybody to our Ike Kaiaulu Talk Story series that is held every month on the second Friday of every month during the academic semester. Today, I want to welcome Hollie Cruz, who's with us. She's the program assistant for the TSA Honolulu K9 unit. And we are going to learn about some volunteer opportunities that are available with the program. And it's kind of a unique situation, which we're going to learn about. And I think we're going to get to meet a few doggies. I see one in Mark's little square on the screen. Yep. So welcome everybody. And today we're going to focus on, keeping our community safe and finding out some of those volunteer opportunities. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Hollie, who is with us today, and Mark, who is here, so we can learn a little bit more. So welcome, everybody.
Hi, all. Thank you for attending. We appreciate this opportunity that NOI is giving us to just do like a community outreach and at the same time work with y'all to get some volunteers just so y'all can help us train, not only help us train, but see on the other side of what TSA K9 program is about. Some quick facts. TSA K9 program has been in existence since 1972 under the Federal Aviation Administration, and then TSA in 2002. So we have a few dog teams. There's K9 teams located at various airports around the nation. Basically, the K9 handler has an assigned dog, and they work with that same dog throughout the dog's career. When the dog is ready to retire, they get reassigned a dog. Our dog teams are explosive detection, so they're trained out of Laughlin Air Force Base, and they basically they're trained on cargo and different static items, as well as passenger screening. So that's where the volunteer part comes in. We do constantly use volunteers. Right now, one of our big volunteer pools are the military. They come out for about 1 to 2 hours. We usually have one volunteer per day. At the Honolulu Airport, we provide parking as well, and they work with our teams throughout the day, basically playing the passenger role. They play the passenger role, and they may or may not have a training aid set on them. And with the guidance of the training instructor, we go ahead and do training scenarios within the airport, and we try to make it as close to reality as possible, just to train, for the real thing. That's basically the program in a nutshell. Did you guys have any questions so far? Oh, also I have Mark here. If y'all didn't meet Mark, he's one of our explosive detection canine handlers, and he has his dog Preacher there. Preacher. He's just been assigned a new dog, and he also has his retired dog Attila.
Can we meet the doggies? Can we see them?
Yes,
of course,
you can. Yes, you can.
Part, right?
Yes.
So this, so like Hollie said, I'm one of the handlers at Honolulu Airport. I had a dog that retired about a month ago. His name is Attila, and he's a big baby. So let me show you Attila. Attila's a bird dog. So this is Attila.
Hi, Attila.
Attila's a German short-hair pointer, which is one of the common breeds that we have out of our training center. So these dogs are bred for bird hunting. He is going to be 8 years old in August. As you can see, he has his white hairs all over here. He's an old man. So he retired in beginning January, and then I flew up to Texas for a week to pick up my new dog. Watch out, bud. And my new dog is a whole nother animal. Preacher. Preach. So this is Preacher.
He's half horse.
So Preacher is Belgian Malinois. Yeah, he's a big kisser, but he's a big boy. He's 75 pounds. He's the biggest dog we have at our airport. Preacher is 2 years old, and he's going to be 3 in May. So right now we're not certified as a team, but we do use decoys like Holly said, on a daily basis to make sure the dogs are doing what they're supposed to do at the airport. We can't say it enough how appreciative we are of our decoys that volunteer at our program. You know, just to keep our dogs on task, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know, like Holly said, we have decoys pretty much daily. We have a bunch of different breeds at our airport. We have pointers like Attila, who's this lazy boy right here. We have a Hungarian pointer. We have a Vizsla. We have pointier dogs like Preacher, who's a Belgian Malinois. We have a Shepherd. We have a Shepherd Mal mix. And we had labs before, but they're no longer at our airport. They retired. So if you do come out and volunteer as a decoy, you're going to get to, you know, like Holly said, play the role of the bad guy at the airport. People will look at you like something's going on, but, you know, it's kind of fun. It's fun to be the bad guy, you know. We're going to try to blend you in with the crowd, make you look as natural as possible to really make it as real life as we can. We really want to test the dogs to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. So it's fun, you know. You get to meet the dogs after. Once we're done with our training for the day, we always make it a point to ask the decoy, do you want to take pictures with the dogs? You want to meet them? You can pet them. You can love up on them. And, you know, they all love it. They all love the attention. You know, we'll take pictures with you and the dogs. You can show your friends and family. And, you know, it's something that it's crucial to our mission to our canine TSA mission. And, you know, we're very appreciative of volunteers. So thank you guys for having us on and listening to what we do on a daily basis.
That's really cool. We had a question. Is it Creature with a C or Preacher with a P?
This is his name is Preacher, so it's Precher.
Like
so I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to the A, but that's how it's spelled. Precher. Preacher. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I have a question for Holly or Mark. What exactly are the dogs looking for?
The dogs are they're explosive detection canines, so they're trained strictly on different explosives, basically. And yeah, so they would be looking either on passenger, or they're also trained to search static areas such as like terminals, cargo, and all the other additional. But their main focus is on passenger screening.
I see.
Oh, here's Penny.
Hi, Penny.
Hi, everyone.
Penny
Penny.
Fernandez. She's one of our canine handlers too at the Honolulu Airport.
Awesome. Do you have doggies with you too? Not that I'm all about the dogs. I'm not about the dogs, but I like dogs. Yeah.
I have them with me. I'm currently at house. Yeah.
Cool. Well, if you want to introduce your dogs, let us know.
Yeah. Maybe at the end. At the end.
Sounds good. Okay, we just heard from Holly and Mark a little bit about the, well, we met Mark's dogs, and Holly was telling us about the dogs that that you have are looking for explosives. I remember when I was at, gosh, I don't remember if it was the Honolulu Airport or if it was in New Zealand Airport. No, it must have been Honolulu. I was trying to leave and somebody gave me my Lele. And obviously we're not allowed to take my Lele to New Zealand. So the dog busted me. But I'm thinking it's a different set of dogs. If your dogs are looking for explosives, there must be other kinds of dogs at the airport.
Right. Yes. Agriculture, there's narcotics, there's bulk, there's quite a few different types.
I had no idea that there were different teams.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't either. And similarly, that reminds me, Noi. I was traveling with 2-year-old twins by myself once years ago. My twins are now 19, but when they were 2, I was traveling by myself from California back home here, and I got stopped by a dog, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, what, did somebody slip something in my bag? You know, because you're thinking like, I don't know what you think, right? But it was because I had a banana.
A banana?
Yeah. Because here I am traveling with 2 babies, right? So I had like some some sliced banana, maybe in a container. I don't remember, but I just remember it was banana. And I remember thinking like, oh, thank goodness. Like somebody put something in my bag, you know? But so the dogs do a great job. I was just at the airport on Saturday, and I saw a dog in training, you know, snooping around backpacks, and I saw in the like when people were waiting at the gates, and a gentleman was talking to the handler, and I heard him say, oh, he's in training, and they're like, yeah, and he was like, yeah, help yourself, go take a look. So how do you know which dogs are in which group, or are we not supposed to know?
You probably won't know unless they identify themselves, what they're specifically looking for. Generally, it's not something that we mention. You know, if someone asks, then yeah, sure, we'll say. But generally, it's not announced. So.
Yeah, I guess you don't really want to go, explosives dogs has now found some explosives.
Right.
Or write a sign on the side of the dog, explosive searcher.
But that makes me curious now for like your volunteer decoys, especially with like social media nowadays. I think like, oh, if I was a volunteer decoy, there might be somebody posting me on social media like, oh, look, the librarian at WCC is getting busted.
No,
must have had drugs on her.
We don't post, but we like pictures with the dogs afterward. Have a little photo op with them, because a lot of them are very social. They're very social.
So I'm worried about people walking by who see the decoy, like they don't know I'm a decoy, so they see me getting busted. Does that ever happen?
Yes. And you know, it gets people a little bit, you know, uptight, because they don't know exactly what's going on. So yeah, that does happen. But once the dog is rewarded, they know that it's training. So from that point on, where the dog gets paid with their reward, then everything de-escalates and people are like, oh, okay, it's training. Yeah.
So if you're going through the process and you are a decoy and you get busted by the dog, is it like you are going to be, because if you're trying to keep it as true to life, would you be like handcuffed and all that stuff? And the dog would be like, okay, good, I did good. The person is handcuffed. I got the bad guy. No, as a decoy, you're not handcuffed.
No.
We always have a trainer standing close by who's kind of observing and monitoring the training scenario. So once our dog finds the decoy, they're going to respond. And then we pay the dog their toy, and then they're done. So we move out, the new team comes in, we run another team right after that.
Does the handler know who the decoy is?
Not all the time.
Sometimes we don't. It depends.
Okay. So not until like we reveal ourselves.
Yeah. So the trainer will know who the decoy is, and then sometimes the handler running the actual situation, the scenario at the time, sometimes we'll know. So like for me, because I remember I told you I have a new dog, a lot of my scenarios are known because we're training the dog. But a handler like Penny, who has a veteran dog, you know, she'll run it unknown to make it a real true test for not only her dog but for herself. You know, so
Yeah. And are your
Sorry,
decoys
Cindy.
typically people who are flying? Because it's like otherwise you're not really at the airport gate, right?
So decoys usually they volunteer for 2 to 3 hours at a time. So we have a schedule every month. I send out to like the volunteers and POCs, and then we schedule it out. So you're scheduled to be here for a specific time frame, and then basically you would park at our designated parking. Either myself or the other program assistant Jennifer would come and meet you, and then myself or Jennifer would escort you throughout the whole time, and then we would meet up with the subject matter experts, which is the canine trainer, or the canine handler is one of the trainers of the day, whoever's running the scenario for that day. So yeah, you won't, it's not like we pull like that person you have to be flying out that day. Yeah. I mean, we've done where people want to volunteer as they're on their way out, but yeah, we haven't done that in a while, but that's stuff that we've visited before.
Interesting. Oh, the way we found out about you guys is one of our
Yeah.
colleagues at Windward has been a decoy, and she's the one that
Awesome.
told us about it. Yeah, and so we got really interested. There's a couple questions in the chat. One is, can a dog be trained in multiple disciplines, explosive, narcotics, ag, or is it usually one?
I'll answer that question, I guess. Generally, it's very focused on particular odors. So in our case, it's explosives, but it's all kinds of explosives. So I can't speak for any other discipline generally, but I would say because there are, a ton of different ingredients involved with explosive odor, that's something we need to focus in on so that the dogs can be really good at what they do.
Okay, so you would teach them on the odor of explosive materials.
Yes.
And that I would think would be a huge number, because now when you go on an airplane, you can't bring liquid, whatever. And so I'm assuming there must be the liquid form, the powder form, the whole bunch of different explosive ingredients that you have to look for. So, and are there more that develop over time? Like, oh, we have a new one. We need to teach our dogs the new one, the new explosive thing to look
Generally,
for.
Homemade explosives that are the ones that are mixed with different fuels. So those are the ones that we try to make sure we train on consistently.
Wow. So a couple more questions in the chat. Can we wear a mask so they don't see our face? I guess that's kind of addressing the Cindy question when she asked about, I don't want to show up on social media.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to wear a face mask, it's up to you. We leave it at the discretion of the volunteer. It's not required throughout the state right now, but people do still wear masks, so that's fine.
Personal choice.
Great question.
Yeah. Another question is, so the decoy carries explosive odor somehow? Yeah.
Yes, it's actually either set in a bag or on person, and that's strictly through the guidance of the canine trainer of the day.
Okay. And then Cindy said, is that why sometimes TSA wipes a person's hands? Is it to test for explosive powder, odor, etc.? I always wondered that too, Cindy. Why do they wipe your hands?
I know I've had my hands wiped once or twice before.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
Just to see if you've been handling some explosives.
Correct.
What if he was popping firecrackers?
I was just gonna say the same thing. What if you were just, I don't know, holding firecrackers? Would that be
explosive?
Yeah.
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 I would just say, if you're playing with fireworks before catching a flight, make sure you wash your hands. Good.
Good to know.
Put it in your bag. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now I want to know, what is the most, well, that you can talk about, bust. And it can be very generic. You can tell a generic story of a bust.
I wish we could share that, but we cannot.
You guys must have some real good stories. You must have some real good.
So on top of the subject, when you do volunteer, you have a safety briefing that it's a PowerPoint that you read, which is about the process of volunteering, and you also sign a non-disclosure form. So non-disclosure meaning you can absolutely share that you had a good time, you volunteer with the canines, but you're not allowed to disclose any specifics of how our testing went, what training aids we use, any specific information, because that is sensitive information.
And if we found out that information, we could share it with people who might be trying to smuggle explosives, and therefore that would be a bad thing. Right. Got it. Secret.
And so what kind of training do you guys have? And are you considered, obviously you're considered like an officer of the law or something, but what exactly is like your job title / duty / training?
I'll let Mark do that.
What is that, Penny? You want me to do it?
I'll let you answer that one because you recently went to LAC
Yeah.
stuff.
So our title is explosive detection canine handler. No, sorry, transportation security specialist, explosive detection canine handler. So TSS EDH. I know it's too many letters. Our initial training is 4 months right now. It's going to be 4 months in San Antonio, Texas at Lackland Air Force Base. So we go up there as a brand new handler. I went in 2019 and Penny went in 2012? 2010? 2011.
Long time
So Penny
ago.
went a while ago. You know that it's a very it's a process that it's constantly changing. So they do you know, switch it up from year to year. They'll adjust classroom material, they'll adjust the criteria of the program, the training program. So right now I believe it's 3 to 4 months the training. You go up there, you meet they have an entire training team. So they have a training team, an instructor team, guys to teach the class. They have guys and girls to teach the class, guys and girls to train the dogs, and they train you on how to handle the dogs. So it is a very long process, but it is a very important part of the process of being a handler, because for me, I had zero canine experience before this job. Penny, she has a lot of experience with search and rescue and other things. But for a new person, a brand new green handler like myself, that 4 months, it's a lot of information. You know, it's a lot of classroom stuff and a lot of hands-on leash stuff. So it is a long process, but you know, it's such a rewarding job. I love being a canine handler. I mean, coming into work every day with a dog and doing something different every day, it's fun. You know, it's fun. It's exciting. You know, I mean, you can't complain. You get to work with a doggy every single day, you know, so I enjoy it. And it's a job that is always different every day. So it's fun. You know, we have a good team at Honolulu Airport. And you know, if you guys do volunteer to come on, you know, you'll definitely I don't think you'll regret it. You have a fun time with the dogs, with the team, and yeah, we have a lot of repeated decoys. So we only allow decoys to come back. I believe it's once a month, Holly.
45 days.
Okay, so once every 45 days, and we have decoys that come literally every 45 days because you know they enjoy you know, experiencing the bad guy, and they like to see the dogs. And although some of our dogs remember them, they know them because they're so regular. It's just, you know, they have a good time. So
I have a question. My husband is an actor, and so I was like, "Oh, perfect. He can act like that, right?" But he's afraid of dogs. So I'm wondering if there's any chance. He goes, "I might get bit," and I'm like, "I don't think they're gonna choose a doggy that bites." So what about people that have fear of animals? Are they okay?
As a decoy?
Yeah. Ever have chances of people getting bit?
Well, I mean, the likelihood is low. I won't say that it's impossible because, you know, dogs have teeth. but generally, we also could use blank decoys because you're from a particular, we call it a particular scent pool. If you're from a pool that has a lot of volunteers that come up, we also want to do what we call extinction, or odor discrimination between a person that smells like an area and a person that smells like an area and our target. So it would be, as a blank, the dog would be checking off of you your location scent pool, if that makes any sense. So the dog wouldn't necessarily be actively chasing after you, which is generally, they get excited because once they smell odor, they're going to follow it. It's going to look like they're chasing you. And the handler just keeps a distance where they're able to pay the dog as you're walking out So hopefully that answers your question. Does that answer your question?
If I can add in, Penny, real fast.
Yes.
So, you know, there's a lot of, like we talked earlier, there's a lot of different types of dogs. You know, you have detection dogs for narcotics, explosives, agriculture. And we also have dogs in like the military and police that are attack dogs. They're bite dogs. So for us being TSA handlers, you know, we work around a lot of people, a lot of passengers, airport employees, kids, elderly people. So, you know, our dogs are, I mean, like Penny said, a dog is a dog. You never know. But if any TSA dog has any history of aggression, they will not be in the program. So it's very, very, very unlikely. Plus, we always have our dogs on leash. We always have control of them. So, you know, if your husband is scared of a dog, you know, he'll be fine. You know, and if he's an actor, that's even better for all of us because he's gonna play the role perfectly. So, we encourage couples to come out. So if you and your husband want to come out, we encourage you to bring your kids because you'll blend in even more because we don't have decoys that are kids. I mean, sometimes we have family members that bring their kids in. And those scenarios are really rare for us. So we really appreciate those scenarios. Sometimes our dogs, you know, I mean, they're smart, so they're gonna pick up on the patterns that they see. So if we always have decoys that don't have kids, they're gonna like kind of what we call check off of the families with kids. So it's a good way to test us and our dogs to make sure they're not, you know, profiling and seeing this person looks like a decoy, or we're making sure they use their nose and they do what they're supposed to do.
You know? And if your husband is afraid, he's welcome to come and just stay at a distance and watch. It's okay to watch the first couple of times.
That's totally true. Yeah. Well, luckily my son's an actor too, so there you go. The
whole family can come.
That's right. It would be a great family acting group. I'm not an actor. I just look like one. No, I'm kidding. Before we go on with some of the other questions that are in the chat, I wanted to ask Mark or any of you a little bit more about training, because since we're at Windward Community College, we have a wonderful vet tech program. So we know that we do have students that are very interested in animals. They seem to be a good group to tap into for this volunteer opportunity. And maybe they could be swayed to go into training and do what you do as well. But I'm interested in the dogs. So Mark, you said that the dogs are trained when you went up to get the 4-month training. Are the dogs supplied by TSA, or do you take your own personal dog and you take it up there and they train them? How do dogs get involved for training?
You know, I don't know, Penny might know more to this question than I do, but my understanding is we have teams up in Texas, up at Lackland Air Force Base, that go out on buying trips. So they'll go out and buy dogs overseas, sometimes in the States, but I think overseas is the more common pool that they buy dogs from. And they'll buy, you know, I don't know, Penny's like what, 30, 40, 50 dogs at a time.
Right.
And then they'll bring them back to Texas. They'll train the dogs up for so many weeks before the brand new handler gets there. And then they try, and like I said before, they'll try and kind of play with the process. So sometimes before they can train the dogs for maybe 12 weeks before a brand new handler gets there. Because of course, as a brand new handler, you don't know what you're doing. So you're going to bring the dog, you know, they train the dog up, the handler comes in down here, and then it's going to bring the dog back down. So they're trying to find that happy medium to make it the most successful team. So I think now they might train it for a little less than 12 weeks. But it might be 8 weeks, Penny. Do you know?
Excuse me, at least 8 weeks.
8 weeks, okay. So yeah, so they kind of dropped on amount of time the dog is trained before the handler gets there, to kind of make them a better fit for each other so they can grow as a team and build that rapport. And then so we train up there for 4 months with the dog, and then when we come back, we fly back with our dog, and then we do our local real life training. So yeah, that's how it kind of works. Sorry, you're on mute, Noe.
It makes me think about the training of dogs because I have thought about service animals and I'm curious about how they're all trained. So it's interesting that they would go out and buy the dogs and then work on obedience with the dogs and then bring the trainer in or the handler in. So it's interesting. I know one of the questions was, are the dogs ever incorrect when they find somebody that they think has explosives?
I'll answer that question. There are times when there is no specific find, as we would say, but there generally is a story that goes with it. An example would be military EOD person or a hunter that let their son borrow their bag. They travel with it. There's nothing in it, but there's residual of items that were in it, which technically you don't have a physical find, but that doesn't mean the dog is incorrect.
That makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Residual is something that I think there's lots of situations where that can happen as well. I know other people that have had residual other things on themselves in a jacket pocket or something like that,
Right.
that have been detected. So understandable. Mohala, where are you? Mohala put in the chat. Did you want to address it verbally instead of what you wrote in the chat?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you. For about 10 years, Mark, you look very familiar, but I took a lot of trips between San Francisco and Honolulu for a long time, and I wish I knew because I would be happy to have done this. I don't travel very much anymore, but what I noticed is that if there were dogs seen at San Francisco, they tended to be like the big breeds like German Shepherds or Malinois, but the Honolulu dogs tended to be like Beagles, and I don't remember what the other ones was, but the Beagle comes to mind, and I wondered if you tended to choose dogs that were less intimidating to people, because I would get very nervous when the dog was around. I had nothing to hide, but it's just human nature to wonder, well, did I put something in there? I don't think so.
I'll let you answer that, because you have one of each.
Yeah, so at our Mohala, is that your name?
Yes.
So yeah, at our airport, like Penny said earlier, we have a bunch of different types of dogs. Beagles is a common breed they use for agriculture. So at our airport, we have Customs and Border Protection. And Customs, they have a team of, I believe, 5 or 6 dogs that are all Beagles. Beagles and Beagle mixes. For TSA, we have a bunch of different breeds that we use, from floppy ear dogs to the Did you get to see the dogs, Mohala? My dogs?
No, I was late. That's
okay. Let me show you.
My loss.
So this is my sleepyhead. This is my German short hair pointer. So this is my boy. He's a bird dog. He actually just retired. And he's a typical floppy ear dog. He's a bird hunting breed. And this boy right here is my Belgian Malinois. Preach. Sure. So this boy, we just got him at the airport. He's a big boy. He's 75 pounds. And so I'm assuming this is the kind of dog that you're saying looked intimidating.
Yes.
Yeah. So they do look intimidating. But I tell you, he's such a big baby. He's a little. He's a sweetheart.
He certainly doesn't look intimidating like that right now. Only when he's on duty, right? Yeah, only when he's on duty.
Yeah, he worked today, so he's tired. But,
I'm sure Mark looks.
Yeah, so
Mark looks less intimidating out of uniform too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have a bunch of different breeds. But some, we even have Labradors sometimes. We have Penny has a Vizsla, which is a Hungarian
Yeah.
pointer, which is a very sweet looking dog.
Mhm.
But it just depends. We get assigned a dog when we go to Texas, and that's our partner for the next, hopefully 6 to 8 years. You know, but our dogs are all friendly. As far as our TSA dogs, they're very friendly.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Are they considered officers as well?
The dogs?
No, we're not even really. We're not really officers either. I think officers are more so the guys that are in the checkpoint, the TSA officers in the blue shirt.
Dumb.
But no, they're not. I mean, they're federal employees. They're, they get a lot of good benefits from the government, which is well deserved. They deserve everything that they get. But yeah, they're not really called officers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cindy had a couple questions. Do you give all commands in German and Belgian and Hungarian? Because of the type of dog they are, I guess. Is that what you mean, Cindy?
Well, because like my friend is a canine handler, and
Oh.
their commands are in, I want to say Belgian or something. They don't give English commands to the dogs.
Yeah, ours are English and sometimes Hawaiian.
My dogs know pigeon. They know pigeon the best.
Hawaii Creole English. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Maybe
then-
it's I can't remember if my friend said, because he's with the police, right? So his dogs, they're attack dogs. And I can't remember, I mean, it was probably 10 years ago he told me this, but I think it's because they're attack dogs, their commands are in a different language, because if you're attacking a bad guy and the bad guy's like, no, sit, or whatever,
Confusing.
I think it has something to do with that. They have to know the commands, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, we do see some handlers talking in another language, like you said, some European language. I think some dogs they're from there, so that's where they're trained. That's where they have their foundation. That's where they know the simple command verbiage. But as far as our dogs, I don't even know how to speak anything in another language. So we stick to English, and the Hawaiian pigeon comes out every once in a while. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Are the dogs male or female? Or both? Doesn't matter.
My dogs are 2 males, but at our airport we have mostly females. So we have a total of 9 dogs for TSA at our airport, and I believe 6 of them are females. So we have 3 males and 6 females right now, currently working. Yeah.
And that's the dogs. What about women? How many men and women, humans, men and women?
You're looking at the one and only female handler we have at our airport.
Really? Everybody else?
We only have one.
Awesome, Penny. We need more
more.
female handlers.
But that's a good segue, because this sounds like a very interesting job and not typically something that little kids grow up knowing is a career out there, right? And being that we work at a college and we have students who are trying to find some sort of path in life, how does one even, because I'm glad that earlier you mentioned, Mark, Penny came from prior careers where she had some sort of experience. You came green. So how does one even find out about a job like this or get involved, so that we can share with students who might be struggling in an academic environment and need something more hands-on?
That's a good question. So for me, I didn't even know about this canine program until I joined TSA and I moved back to Honolulu. So I started TSA in Kauai, and I started as one of those guys in blue shirts at the checkpoint, like a regular officer. Moved my way up in the checkpoint, and I moved from Kauai to Honolulu in 2015, and then I found out about this canine program, which I didn't really even think of before I moved here. I had a couple friends in the program, like Penny and another handler. They kind of shared some stuff with me, and once I realized what they would do on a daily basis and you know, it really intrigued me. Like I was like, that sounds pretty cool, man. I want to get out of this checkpoint and I want to do something fun like that. So that's how I got in. So I was already in TSA for so many years, and I transferred over to the K9 unit. You know, it is a very competitive position, but there's a reason why it's so competitive. It's one of the most rewarding jobs, you know, and it's very a lot of military personnel come over to TSA because they want to stay in the federal system. So we do have a good amount of our handlers that are retired military handlers. So they work there so many years in the military, they got their experience. And of course that makes them a little, well, for some, it's a little easier for them to get in because they have the credentials, they have the experience. But you know, at the same time though, sometimes trainers, they want brand new people that don't have habits. They want to teach somebody that's brand new, that will take in everything like a sponge and start from the very beginning. So I mean, you know, that's typically where we get our handlers from, either TSA TSA officers in the checkpoint or retired military handlers.
That's awesome. Holly, did you want to add anything to what's discussed?
I don't have anything else to add.
Okay.
I just wanted to throw it out there that I do come up with a monthly schedule for volunteers. So if anybody's interested, I can send my email address and my work cell phone number. Y'all can reach out to me, email me, or even just shoot me a text message, say, hey, I'm interested, and we can get y'all scheduled. Right now, we usually do about one volunteer per day. So we're always looking for new faces, you know, and we're always willing to work with new people.
Oh, that's good. I will send you a message.
Fun. It's super fun.
Sorry.
This is
sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Holly, go.
Oh, no, I was just want to say, we do provide a letter and a certificate of appreciation once you volunteered. So each time you volunteer, we email a letter of appreciation as well for all of our volunteers.
Awesome.
I'm curious to hear from Mark. Does spinning in a circle mean he found something? He found something?
So no, this
Banana?
is
I want to go in the house to the bathroom.
no, these two boys did not go in the house. So Attila, my crazy one over here, he's excited because it's time to eat.
Yeah.
So these two dogs are both ready to eat, but you can tell, look how different their behaviors are.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is my daughter. She just came up from school. But Attila and Preacher are two opposite doggies in every way possible. The way they act when they're hungry, the way they act when they're working.
Interesting.
But yeah, he's a sweetheart. He's good with my kids.
Oh, good.
They're both good. Attila, but yeah, just wanted to show you that.
That's cool. Never seen a dog go in circles. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What I will do is, I see Yvelle is interested. She wrote in the chat, so I will make sure that if you are interested, go ahead and email me, and I will definitely get you in contact with Holly. So anybody that's watching this video right now, later, send an email to the Honolulu program, and I will get you in touch with Hollie Cruz. That's pretty cool.
I'll
Thank you.
introduce my girl real quick.
Yeah.
Just hop up on my lap, okay? So come on up. Hi. This is Kayla. She's a Vishla. She's a very naughty girl, but very fun and very social.
Cool.
I give her
Kayla actually, I do need to share that Kayla actually won a competition a couple years ago. She won the cutest canine, TSA's cutest canine in the nation.
Wow.
And I believe it was 2020, Penny?
The whole nation.
Yeah.
Entire nation. She was the #1 cutest canine in the nation.
Congratulations, Kayla.
Yeah.
Is she really big, or is she small and short? I can't really tell by her face.
I'll take her outside so you can see her. Oh, hang on a sec.
She have short legs, long legs? Just curious.
Can you get me a ball, please? One ball.
She's quite muscular, actually.
Oh, yeah. And how old is she, and how long have you had her?
She's gonna be 8, and I've had her for almost 7 years.
So at what age do they retire? The dogs?
They can be eligible at about 8 years old. Oh, relax, little girly.
Oh, look at them. Mark, your dogs are sitting so nicely.
Take a
Are
picture.
you frozen? Is there-
Because I have a toy in my hand.
Ah,
I'm gonna switch my screen around.
Sit.
I don't know. I can't do it. How did you switch your screen around, Mark?
there's a
You have to push that button with the arrow.
Go there.
Top left corner.
Top left. Shit. I don't know. Oh, here. This is it. Oh, there we go. Okay. So here she is. Come here, girly. Come here, girly. There she is. And this,
Oh, she's kind of big. She's a medium dog.
she's medium. And this is my retired one. This is Malpy.
Creature. Hey.
She's 14. She's
Wow.
retired. And that's a usual activity for this dog. Super playful, super hyper, and enjoys life.
Oh,
That's
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool. It's hard to believe these really, really playful, happy dogs are
Oh,
actually
yeah.
hard
Yeah.
workers.
Oh, yeah.
When
Oh,
we
yeah.
see them at the airport, they're
It's like
actually
the minute you put their uniform on, they're like in work mode, yeah?
Right.
I'm
right.
always like, wow, these dogs are so amazing, and my dogs at home are so crazy. But
Oh, they're crazy.
yeah,
they're just crazy off the clock.
Right. Right.
Yeah, even though they're working dogs, you still have to understand they're still dogs.
Yeah.
They know when it's work time. When we get to the airport, or when they hop in our work trucks and we're heading to the airport, they know that it's work time. So once they're in that airport environment, they turn into like a different type of dog. They're just serious. They're business for the most part. But they know when it's time to relax and have fun and play with their toys and bond with their family. They know when to do that. So they gotta have the right balance. You can't just be serious with them all the time, because they're not machines. They're dogs. So gotta let them enjoy life too, and let them retire and be a full-time pet, and so.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I want to thank all of you, all like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of you, counting the doggies, for sharing all about your job, all about the volunteer options that are available out there. And hopefully you'll get some people that are outside your normal decoy population to come and join you as decoys. Thank you so much for your time. It looks like we're almost at 2 o'clock.
Mhm.
Thank
Awesome.
you so much. I could probably take one last question. Samantha, you put on your camera, so I thought you might have a question. Or are you just saying bye?
Saying bye.
Okay, cool.
Mahalo.
Thank you so much everybody, for coming.
Thank you
I
guys
appreciate
for
your time.
attending. We look forward to meeting you guys.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you all.
Fun.
Definitely. Take care, everybody. Bye, doggies.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Bye-bye. Thank you.